Again, one of the things that we saw is that in local governments there was a lot of chaos. Certain departments were being left behind, and a lot of it was about software, about technology, and not about solutions. So what we decided is that we would like to take a step back. Instead of talking about the technology, as it were, we wanted to build solutions and take various, I guess, the best of Esri software, the best of some of the data and all those things that are out there, and create a package that made sense for a particular department and give them something off the shelf that worked for them. Instead of GIS for their department, it was more of a solution for their department.
Well, they're fairly recent initiatives, but as Geographic Technologies Group has matured, the natural process has been to focus on specific disciplines within local government. Now remember, we focus on towns, cities and counties, and as such each town, each city, each village has specific needs for GIS, including enterprise needs. But we built the Green City GIS initiative because we realized that Parks and Recreation needed some kind of GIS strategy, and that's where that came from. Utility City is the same thing, from water, sewer and stormwater. They needed a specific strategy based on the Esri product line, and Safe City, which was more to do with emergency operations and public safety, again needed a strategy that focused on crime analysis, on public safety, on emergency operations, on hazard mitigation. And that's where those initiatives came from. It was a natural evolution of the company to build specific initiatives for local government.
So we've worked with local governments for 20 years now. And in working with local governments, we've learned a lot about all the different departments and different ins and outs of each of those departments within towns, cities, and counties all across North America and even into other countries. And in our studies, we realized that there are some particular departments that have a heavy need for GIS, but they didn't have solutions that were necessarily tailored to their specific needs. So it was more of an a la carte option and choosing for them, instead of a package solution. So when we started looking at parks departments, public works and utilities, and police, fire, EMS, we really started to see solutions that were being provided by Esri that really could be tailored to fit these organizations, these departments, and their specific needs. So we looked at that, packaged those together, and developed Green City GIS, Utility City GIS, and Safe City GIS to better serve those departments and really give them tools that they can use to enhance their workflows and their day-to-day operations.
So 20 years ago, in its infancy, it was all about the technology. You had to have people that had a PhD or a master's degree in the technology to be able to use it. So therefore you had just one or two people in the organization that were the power brokers, and everybody had to come to them and give them flowers and give all kinds of things to be able to get products that they wanted. But that over time has matured. So every time that Esri comes out with a new product set, they kind of promise that this is the enterprise-wide software. So it's continued to mature through its teenage years to where we had things like ArcView that made it easier for the end users, to where we started to enable the end users. The beauty of what's happened over just the last couple of years is that there's been a lot of money poured into the GIS industry that has been used to create end-user applications that are easy to use, such as the story maps that are out there now and a variety of other products from Esri. So now, unlike in its infancy, now that we're into more of the college level and more mature stage of GIS, we're able to enable everybody with tools that make sense and that they can use.
Well, I suppose if you look back at 1997, if you look at strategic planning in particular, there were organizations developing strategic GIS plans or GIS plans for local government, and there were finance companies. So what we've seen is, from a strategic planning side, we've seen organizations asking for strategic plans. Then they've moved to developing strategic plans, and then they've evolved into enterprise and sustainable strategic plans. And now I think local government are asking for enterprise, sustainable, enduring business plans for GIS. So we've seen quite a significant evolution of strategic planning. Now, as it relates to the full service part of GTG, we've seen technologies change, we've seen standards change. We've gone from the industry being in its infancy in the early 90s to maturing and at a stage now where it's just really taking off. And it's really more of geospatial sciences. It's, you know, we talk about geostrategic planning, we talk about data standards, but we talk about automated vehicle location, we talk about global positioning system, we talk about everything to do with geospatial science. So in '97, the industry was in its infancy. I think now in today's world, it's just really starting to take off with everything to do with geospatial science.
So whenever I started using GIS about 10 years ago, it was very much in a teenager realm. I see it as it was thinking that it was mature, but it really just wasn't quite there. It still had a bit of growing to do. It wasn't something that was relatable to everyone. Not everyone could pick up GIS and use it and run with it. GIS required quite a bit of hand-holding for people. It required a lot of guidance. It required people to take a lot of training. Much like with a teenager, you have to guide them and teach them and show them the right ways. GIS, in my opinion, was very similar to that about 10 years ago. Since then, it's really grown and started to mature. GIS has become more available. It has become something that is more sustainable on its own. It's something that you can give it to someone, you can give them a quick training session, and they're off to the races and they're using it. Even the public applications were very cumbersome and hard to use, maybe difficult to understand. We may have that with teenagers as well. Now it's something that's more relatable, something that people can grab a hold of and grasp, and they can use that. People are using GIS now, they don't even know they're using it. You know, with some of the latest tools that are out there, people can get information, it's at their fingertips. It's very easy to use and accessible. And then also for end users. You know, previously we didn't have the ability to take data out into the field or update data in the field in a real-time environment. If we did, it was very costly. It was very expensive to do so. It was very cumbersome for the end user. So the people that were able to do that was more reserved for higher end users. Now we can put GIS in the hands of anybody that wants it in the field, whether they're just viewing data or they're updating data. Everybody has that ability now with the solutions and tools that are available now 10 years later.